All right, so today's video is going over how to hydrate properly. I'm excited. This is one of the most important practices that you can begin in making it a lifelong habit. So, this one is super important because water is not something your body can adapt to having less of. It can do that with other vitamins and minerals and nutrients. It cannot do that with water. So, this is essential that we are getting enough in by bringing it in. So, what is your actual practice? This one is a little bit different. It doesn't give you an exact number of amount, rather than starting with 8 glasses per day. That's going to be a general recommendation. Some people need more water. Some people need slightly less water. That's going to be totally dependent on like your body size, how much you sweat throughout the day, the humidity of where you live, the types of food that you eat, how your hormones are regulated, how much you're sleeping. All of those things are going to dictate how much water your body needs. So we'll be practicing starting with at least 8 glasses of water, but the end goal is to always find our internal cues. So using those external guidelines of 8 glasses of water and practicing that over and over until you feel like you have your internal cues down. And what I mean by internal cues is how you feel, just from the inside out, knowing that you are hydrated or not hydrated without having to count or measure anything. Okay, so moving on, why is water so important? So our body is comprised up to 60% of water. That's a ton of water, and it's in all of our cells. It's a part of, digestion. It's part of joint lubrication. It's a part of like tissue recovery. It's a part of like your temperature regulation, your oxygen. All of those things need water as part of their, processes to make sure they are going smoothly, going correctly. So if you are getting in enough water, you should feel great. You feel light. You feel, energized. You feel clear headed. If you are dehydrated, which a lot of people can relate to this, you might have a dry mouth. You might have a headache. You might feel lethargic or sluggish or feel like you need to eat a lot more or snack a lot more, which is a big one. So I want to point out a good kind of tip. And I don't think this is talked about enough, and it's such an easy reminder. I wish they had charts on the back of bathroom stalls that has like a pea color chart. So if you're, super, super yellow, you're really dehydrated, you need to drink a lot more water. And there's multiple shades all the way up into the absolute clear that says you're very, hydrated. You can kind of ease back on the water a little bit. So if you want to view that chart, they have one in the resource area on your app. Such an easy way to also give you feedback on how hydrated you are throughout the day. So moving on into some tips and tricks, and I'm checking my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything, because some people already drink a lot of water today. If you're one of those people and you're just using this video as a review, great, awesome, continue doing your thing. If you are one of those people where you're like, I need a lot more water, I drink a ton of coffee, I might drink a ton of soda, I might drink a lot of wine in the evenings, then these tips and tricks might help you the most. So the first one is obviously as we get going long term, we want to make it more internal. We want to become more aware of when we're drinking water and when we are drinking other things, when water would be a better choice of liquid to bring in. So some of the things you can do to easily fit water in throughout your day is just start with either half a glass or a full glass in the morning. I do this on my own. I actually have my coffee mug ready. And every morning I have to drink a full coffee mug of water before I can start drinking my coffee. I didn't like it at first, but I practiced it enough that I made it a habit, and now it's just an everyday thing. It makes sure I'm getting water in before noon, because sometimes I drink coffee slowly, really late into the afternoon. So that's a good one. When you are eating, you can take sips of water in between your bites. Some people are very motivated by the aesthetics of your water bottle. So if you invest in a really cool water bottle that will help you drink more, then that will be totally worth it. And obviously subbing water for other drinks that you already have. But I want to be clear, when we're talking about adjusting your beverages, everyone is going to have a different starting point. And if you're struggling to find that starting point or need any help, absolutely reach out to me, use your message icon, and we can set up a video call or whatever we need. So start from where you're at. You know your day a lot better than I do. So kind of analyze your day and say, okay, where can I fit in just a little bit more water here or there or throughout the day to feel better? So one of my examples is if you are a big wine drinker, when you come home from the day, if that is a habit of yours for decompressing, I'm not telling you to quit, right? Baby steps. But maybe similar to our coffee scenario where we have half a glass of water before your first glass of wine. If you decide to have more than one glass of wine, have half a glass of water in between. And notice I'm only saying half a glass of water because that's really only about 4 ounces. Most of us can chug that in just a few seconds. And it makes it much easier to get done, get it in, rather than sometimes if you're not thinking about it, fitting in an entire glass of water is a lot to chug at once. So start with baby steps. And it's a lot harder to pay attention to the liquids that we're drinking throughout the day. It's a lot easier to kind of write down what we're eating. But for some reason, a lot of us just forget about what we're drinking. So you could have coffee every morning, tea every afternoon, a Diet Coke in the evening, and then wine at night. And it's not till the end of the day that you realize you didn't have any water. So all of this is just building more awareness as well. Okay, so instead of substituting water, we're going to flip the switch into more behavior-based. So if you are drinking something other than water, follow the same rule as you would with food. Drink it slowly. Try to stop drinking it when you feel like 80% content. So it's different than 80% full. But if I am drinking, I don't know, coffee in the morning is my best example. And I usually drink around 2 cups, but I notice that a cup and a half in, I feel content. Like I'm happy with what the coffee offered me, and I'm ready to move on. Go ahead and move on. Feel free to dump the rest of that coffee out and you can move on to water. So try to practice those behaviors on your liquid intake as well. If you order something from Starbucks and it's the really sugary drinks and you love them, still have them, but try to drink them a lot slower. Okay, so it's just making us a lot more aware. All right, and then last thing, just a couple things. Fruits and veggies will give you water. Tea will also give you water. Coffee will give you water. All those things are made with water. So they are keeping you somewhat hydrated, but they do not replace the direct consumption of water. So if you are already consuming fruits and veggies because you've been practicing it for a while, that is wonderful. But just know the direct consumption is going to make the biggest difference as well. So anytime you feel thirsty, if you are really noticing and naming and trying to work on how you feel, you will notice when you're slightly dehydrated. Just get up, have an excuse to go get a sip or 2 of water, and come back and finish what you're doing. Drink water with your meals, and then if you are enjoying an alcoholic drink, usually drink it towards the end of your meal so you can really focus on enjoying that instead. Set your environment just like you would with food. If you came home and you had Oreos on the counter every day, you're going to eat a lot more Oreos just because that's in your environment. If you leave a water bottle at different areas that you normally are at, that will also help you set your environment to drink a lot more water. So I actually have like 3 or 4 water bottles that I love. I have one right next to my bed. I have one in my car. I have one at work. And then I have an extra one that just kind of floats around in my purse wherever I go. Drink water if you think you're hungry. This does not mean that I am saying skip eating when you're hungry. But if you find the urge of like, I might be feeling a little hungry, usually for like a sugary type of thing or a snacky type of thing, drink a little bit of water. Sometimes that is just because we're dehydrated, and so we crave anything, usually sugary foods. And so if that's the case, drink your water and you're not hungry, carry on with your day. If you drink some water and you're still hungry, go ahead and eat. But that's a really good reminder to kind of fit that habit in there. And then last one, short and sweet, just include fruits and veggies in your diet as you already have been from your previous practices. So like I said, Other drinks are going to be just fine in moderation. We have our drink more, which is our water, drink some, and drink less. So working on starting at your starting point and increasing your water intake every day, a little bit at a time. So with that, go out, drink some water, feel better. If you need anything, always reach out to me. Check out the resources page. In your app, they have a ton of stuff that's very helpful, a lot of visuals and infographics as well. So have a great day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.